Hello, today I am going to do a quirky scene, some quirky houses, but it's going to be quite a wintry scene. Now normally when we do the quirky houses we just use a flat brush and we basically go through the whole of the painting with a flat brush. But with this we won't, because we need to leave these roofs white at the first instance. So what I've done different is I've actually drawn the scene in first. Normally I just let the brush take over and we paint as we go on, but in this case I've drawn a very, very rude outline of the scene. And we're going to do a lot of negative painting in this picture, which is quite exciting. So I've put the scene in, I've drawn the scene, I've put it on my website, so you can download it from my website if that's what you need, feel like you need to do. Otherwise you can draw your own little scene in, and it's a really, as you will see by the picture, it's a very, very simple scene, just of oblong roofs and little triangular apexes and a couple of places where we're going to have some trees. But that's it. So let's get on with it. First of all, I'm gonna start with the sky. What we're going to do with this, we're actually going to be painting around all these shapes. But the first thing I'm going to do is get a sky mixture in. And it's going to be quite a dark sky mixture, so I'm putting a bit of French ultramarine blue and a little bit of opera rose, just for the light areas where we're going to be maybe see a little bit of Milky Way. And here I'm going to use a bit of Payne's grey. I like my Payne's grey colour. I've got a couple of additions. We've got just the normal palette, but I've added a bit of cadmium red in there, which I don't normally have. And this is a bit of Prussian blue there, a bit of Prussian blue too. Right, so let's get on with it. We'll start from the top. A bit of Prussian blue, and I'll use a big brush for that. The brush I'm using there is a Skoda brush, size 16, Aquarial, and it's part of the Z range from Joseph Spukwich, and it's a gold series or something. So as I change brushes, I'll let you know which brushes we're using. Nice and simple all the way along there. I'll add a little bit of this lovely, like a violet colour there, isn't it? Just a little bit over there. And with this brush, this is a size 12 from the Skoda Perla range, Synthetical. I'm guessing that means synthetic. I'm very good at my old Italian, aren't I? Right. I'm just going to paint right up to the shape here of my little monument. Now I live near in Somerset, so to me that's Glastonbury Tor, but you might live somewhere else, and most places have got some kind of tor or something on the top of the hill. So, if you live in up Mosley up near Manchester, you'd have a place called Hartshead Pike. That's also quite a popular peak. And a lot of these structures on top of these hills came from the times where they would have to notify, villages or towns would notify each other if something was going on, they were going to be attacked. So they put these big warning stations on top, and they'd light a fire on it, and then somewhere else on another hill would see that fire and didn't know something was happening. So it's a good defence thing, but we don't need that anymore. So now a lot of them are just monuments and so forth. So what I'm going to do here now, these are trees here, so we're going to have to decide. I think I'm going to paint these trees in a little bit, and I'm going to paint them. Excuse my cough. I'm going to put a little blue at the top there. Blue at the top. Down there. And a little bit of burnt sienna at the bottom. And it's nice because it just differentiates these trees. So I'll just carry on at the bottom with this burnt sienna colour. Nip into the old Van Dyke brown. I need to get some more of that. It's quite a nice colour actually. Van Dyke brown. More of that, and now I'm going to go back in with this blue just at the top there. Let that drag, don't worry about the sky dragging down. Quite well, just go right across there. Now with that, we're going to probably cut off our picture on about there anyway. So a little bit of this ultramarine and Payne's grey at the top part here, and we're just cutting out these houses, a bit of Van Dyke there actually. From there we just negative painting all of these, just the top area, that's all we do, we're just doing the top area for the time being. Here we go, that's fine. Now then, we've got some trees there, haven't we? So we'll just put some trees in there. I'm painting around the chimney box because I want to put some snow on top of there later. So I want to leave that white over there. And a bit of this just at the top there, and that quite nicely separates this tree from the tree underneath there. That's fine. Okay. Right. So what I want to do now is I'm going to lift out some of these parts where it's all welled up with a thirsty brush. Now when I say a thirsty brush, I mean a brush that I've just washed and it's very wet, it's soaking, and just get a handkerchief and just bring it down and don't completely dry it. We've kind of drained the most of the water out of it, and because you've done that, it acts like a magnet, or it drags any other water back in. It says I want a bit more water in this brush, so we just use it and use what it's telling us just to lift out these other areas. And now I'm just drying off in my handkerchief these excess bits of moisture. And down there, see the way it just got off. If I just put my brush there and watch, it just draws it up. It's like magic, isn't it? There you go. Now we can let that dry beautifully. And we've got our negative painting has painted in our hill over there. Now it's starting to dry this, so there's very little I can do with that sky unless I was to re-wet it. But I don't want to do that. This is going to be let's say it's a nice afternoon in the sun after the snow has just passed and settled. So I'm going to make a mixture here of Van Dyke brown there, and in here we'll have as this dark colour, bit of Payne's grey, and a little bit of the ultramarine blue. Right, now then, as this is all drying, we're just going to go underneath these eaves that we've drawn here. And use a bit of this Van Dyke as well. Now I don't want to waste the colour that I've got on this brush, so I'm just going to get another brush, same size, same kind of brush, size 12 of Skoda, and use that as a little damping brush, as a little blending brush. So I'm going to add a bit of water to this part so it just runs down there. And we just, when it's very light, just going right up to the edges, just to fade it into almost nothing, into almost nothing. So this is going to be a chimney pot, so I need to be careful of that. This part here, I'm going to put a bit of colour in here. So all we're doing now is just painting the eaves, and a bit of clean water in here. And you know, on this part I'm going to add a little bit of this Van Dyke brown to that. I think it would look quite nice. It contrasts with this colour there. Now, this roof, I'm going to just paint just a little line there under the eaves on that roof there. And with this brush, this clean brush, I'm just going to drag that down there. Just drag it down and make it a thirsty brush to pick up that other extra where we're going to look a bit mad with it. Now I'm going to do this all the way along, just adding a bit of colour to the eaves, so it's a bit repetitious. So to save time, I'm going to turn the camera off. We'll come back when we've done that. Okay, welcome back. We've put all those just under the eaves. Now we've got a couple of big loppy trees there. Now we'll do exactly the same that we did with this one. We're going to paint bluey colour on the top. Let's put a bit of ultramarine there, and browny colour at the bottom. A bit of Van Dyke brown at the bottom there. Right, so let's go into the blue there with a bit of Payne's grey. And I'm going to make this quite loose. I don't want it too thick, this stuff. And I'm just going to paint a little bit of the blue. And I'm not using all of this, I'm just using a bit, quite like halfway, 3/4 to the side of the brush. Yeah, because I want to get a large amount painted at the same time. And this is a great opportunity to just put some little bits of mysterious bits in here. And what I mean by that is, watch this, we'll put some brown here. Now, top of these houses here, we've got snow resting on them, so we don't want to come right up to that. We want to just indicate that there's a bed of snow over here. So we'll put some little branches down there. Yeah. A little mysterious bit over there, I think. So we're going to just drag. Well, you have to do this quite quick. You can't really let these colours dry. So that blue needs to be pretty much wet while you're adding in that brown colour. Otherwise it'll look too separate, you know, it'll just start to take its own personality on, and you get great big edges, and we don't want great big edges. Right, so we'll just go around there, see there. Now over here something's happening, we don't quite know what, so we'll just add a bit of water here to these areas. Something's happening. I think it's going to be something to do with trees, but it's losing its focus, so we've done it wet in wet, and so it can lose its focus, and we can bring it over here. It's where we just take advantage of the wetness, so that the steam's rising there. It's like mist. And I like that, and that's where you can gather all these lovely little chemical reactions with your brush, with the colours. And see now we've got a sharp edge and a lost edge, and I like that. And I think we're going to leave that there because we're going to might have a little bit of snow on top of there. So the next area we're going to do, you see this here, we've got the top of the roof. We're not really identifying it, so I'm going to add another little colour. I'm going to put a bit of blue there, only a very, very slight fade of blue, and a little touch of opera rose, like a warm colour. Now, that's the top of the hill, this is the bottom of the hill, so we just add a little bit of interest here. Now don't forget, this is gonna dry much lighter, but this colour is going to draw the attention over there. And I'm not going right the way down because we want to say to the viewer there's a bit of snow on this roof. So let's bring that down there. Now let's add a bit of blue to the bottom there, just to separate stuff. And now I'm going to use a very damp brush. This has just got water in this brush, and I'm bringing it down. I just want to fade it from the top. Just to fade it from the top. And what I can do to advance that is just to dab, only lightly dab. You don't go straight in like that. You need to just lightly dab that. You know, I think we'll put a bit of this Van Dyke brown on there as well, just on the bottom. Oh, it's great when it all comes together. It's lovely, and a bit of this warm colour as well now. It doesn't matter if that's not real, you don't see that in real life, it really doesn't matter. It's about what makes you happy. I don't want to sound like Bob Ross there, but it really is right, it's your picture. Right. There we go. Made a lovely clean wash over the top there, so it's gonna blend down beautifully from zero to hero. Right, let's just thirsty brush, drag these bits. Get these top bits first because they've been done the longest. This one here. And there was a proper puddle there, isn't it? There's loads. There we go. Finally coming up. Just on here. And just on the bottom there. So what's happening here is, that part here, we've got this bit of interest going on. We don't quite know what's happening there, how the light is being affected, but we just know that it's a little bit on the misty side. Right, let's do these trees as well. Blue to the top. I'm leaving a little gap there because I know it's very wet there. and we can pretend a bit of snow has settled on that area. And now I've added a little bit of a warmer colour, burnt sienna, with that Van Dyke brown. Let's get a bit of more in that. Yeah. Get nice and colourful. Let's even get a little touch of that upper rose there. Just to join those up there. It just makes the eyes a little happier when they see that. It just looks more pleasant. It doesn't have to be how things are in real life. You're just creating your own little bit of world to make people happy. Now, I need a bit of blue on there. These can be little bushes. Now it's taking shape already. And we're not even touched these roofs. Now, this one here, let's get a nice colour there, nice colour there. I'm going to make a colour of light purple there for the top. That's a mixture of ultramarine, French ultramarine blue. I'm going to let that connect. And at the bottom there, let's have a little bit of this burnt sienna. Now, just there. That's going to make it a real pretty tree, that. There we go. And we'll just push that up and just blend it with that brush. Right, now we just need to let that dry. Now that's all dried, lovely, and I've just noticed I've not got anything to separate this roof here from this snowy mountain at the back. So we're going to do that next. And also this building needs a bit of separation because I want to show that there is snow on top of there. So we're going to just take a little mixture of this like a purpley blue that we used before. And I'm going to go straight up to the top of the roof of that house. Straight to the roof, down. And we're going to miss a bit of that roof there. We're going to leave a little area there where we know that there's snow on that roof there, and we just want to indicate that. So I'm going to come down there as well. Right, and now I'm going to just blend that in with a little bit of this rosy colour on that side. So I think we're going to have the light coming from this angle. So now I just drag that up, just dragging it out. So I'm just pulling that colour out from there over to that top of that hill, just to give that hill a little bit of form as well. So I'm going to come down here so it's got a little bit of form, so it looks a little bit more rounder, got a bit more shape to it. There we go. Trusty Yankee, just down there, and I'm just going to lift some of this away. I don't want to have lumps of colour in certain areas. There we go. I think that should be nice. Now, the top of that root, that tray, I'm going to just see if I can just dampen that so it's a softer edge. So I'm going to just dampen it so it just brings a little bit of colour down, so it's not too hard an edge. Okay. Gonna soften that edge, and soften that edge with a bit of colour here. just pull it down. Just see if we can darken the snowy part a little bit just towards the edge. Just run it in. There we go, I think that'll do for that part. That's softened it. Now, the next thing we need to do is sort these chimneys out. Now we're going to use this a colour of Van Dyke brown for the part where the chimney is under, just under the snow, and here we will use a bit of this. I'm using a bit of yellow here with sienna. So let's try this one first, because that might still be damp there. So just under there, under that part there. So I'm just going to go through them all first with this same colour, just with the lighter brown. Now going through them all, so that's where the snow has been coming. Let's make that a little bit taller. The snow has been falling and it's rested on top of that. See, I shouldn't have done that there. See, you can see it's starting to bleed, but I think we can get away with that. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit. There we go. See what happens when you don't concentrate. Now, under there, and under that part here, so this part here is all going to separate it. Okay, and that part here. Are there any more chimneys? There's one up there. Now, we need to let that pretty much dry, so I'm going to use a thirsty brush, lift out any beads or great big blobs of colour. It's going to take quite a while to dry, and I'm going to make that chimney pot a little bit wider. There we go. Under there. So this is quite a light colour of brown. Now I'm going to go back into this Van Dyke brown, this dark colour brown, and just underneath, just where it catches the snow, I'm just going to put a little bit underneath there, not much, but it'll give it a almost like a 3D effect. Sun's come from this side, so you know, on this part here, I'm gonna put a little bit of extra colour, an extra bit of dark brown on this side as well. Alright, that's it. Now, we'll leave that bit now, and we're going to add a bit of this Van Dyke brown now, just underneath this top of the eaves, just underneath there, and come down a bit bit there. I'm going to go through them all like that. Right, it's going to be a bit repetitive, so I'm going to come back in a bit. Right, so we've put all these little eaves in there. We've just put a little bit of this Van Dyke brown just to indicate a little shadow under those eaves. So the next thing I think we should do is, while that's drying, we shall make a mixture up for the windows. So it's going to be a mixture of Payne's Grey and a touch of, let's go burnt sienna. Let's make this a warm colour. We're going to do two sets of two passes on the windows. So the first pass, and we're just, I'm going to use a different brush for this. I'm going to use a small round brush. Right, so what we've got, so I've got my little pointy brush here. It's a size 3. I don't know what it is. I ain't got a blinking clue, but I picked it up from somewhere. It might be a Winsor & Newton one, I don't know. You might just get yourself a little round size 3 brush from somewhere, and I reckon that'll do the job. So firstly, let's go and have a look at where these windows are. I'm just going to put a little square in there for these windows. Do you know, if you've got yourself a little square brush, that might just do the job for this. In fact, I have. I've got one of these little square cheapo brushes, so I think that'll give us a better square. So I'm just going to put a square here. That's it, that's better, isn't it? That's a heck of a lot quicker. So we're just going to put little squares here, using the brush, using the shape of the brush to do what we want. So it's a very small, flat brush. Where else can we go here? We'll put 2 windows in there. We'll put a window in the middle, and we'll have a window there, one there, and one there. Have we left any out? That's the thing. Have we left any out? And that's it's fading away, that, so I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Right, I think they'll do for the time being. That's just our first pass. Now we're going to use this thin brush. Let's have a little work on some of these trees. So so at the base it's going to be quite thick. Yeah, let's get a bit of a stronger colour in here now. Van Dyke brown there. So quite thick at the base, and it's going to go up a little bit wonky like that. Now, if you want to go that way, that's fine. I find it a lot easier to go, and as you get further down, press it down a little bit more, because those branches are getting a little bit stronger and a little bit wider as they get to the base. And we can, and really, in the same sense, as the branches are going up, they're getting thinner and thinner. So, it's whichever way you find easier. I find it easier to do it this way, because I know the shape of the tree. And I can just use it like that. Right, I think that tree's fine. Let's do the next one. Thicker base. I would like to put my base in first, and we'll go direct, the wind's been blowing that way, so this tree is a little, not as strong as the other trees, can hold his own. So his branches are moving further over to the left side. It's been a windy old autumn. There we go. Now I'll put a couple of stubborn branches over there. Now this part here, these are just like thin bushes. So we're going to go through the whole painting like that, so we're just going to do the trees. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so welcome back. We have done all the trees, put all the trees in. Now the next bit, and probably the last bit, is just about finishing the windows off. So we're going to use a mixture of, it's going to be a darker colour. That first mixture was a warm colour because we mixed it with the Payne's Grey and ultramarine. Oh gosh, it was burnt sienna. Anyway, so now we're going to make it quite dark. So we're using a small brush, and be careful not to smudge these trees. And all we do is we just put a little dot. Put 4 dots in each window. Four dots in each window. Nice and easy. All the way through. It's amazing how it just finishes those windows off, that is. Smudge that bit, so I'll just put a little bit back in there. I've got a little smudge there, so I'm just going to put a couple of a little fence along there. So you can always fix things, you don't have to throw it in the bin just because you made a silly little mistake. And I think what we'll do now, just to size it, to get it in proportion, we'll put a little person walking the dog in the snow. So I'm going to make a little mixture of this upper rose with this touch of this yellow, and just put it as a blob there, just a wee blob there. Okay, and that's the person's head. How easy is that? Now we're not going to get too hung up on the shape of the person or the colour of his body, so we are just going to put like a blob there. That's it. And we'll put a little lead there, ever so carefully. And the dog is just a little head. There you go. And it's on a loose lead, so it's a bit slacking. Now, what we need to do is put a couple of shadows in this picture. So I'm going to go in back to my big brush, and we're going to really dampen this area so it is very, very loose. We don't want our shadows to be too strong. So, because it's a cool day, I'm going to add a bit of ultramarine blue. There we go. And mix it with Payne's grey. Now let's go from, the sun is coming that way, so we'll go from this direction, just a little shadow along there. Just using the tip of the brush really. Don't have to be too precise, we're just indicating. You know, because the shape of these shadows will alter by the thickness of the snow on the roofs. So now we're going to look at a shadow for this guy here. And I'm just going to make this toe a little darker at the top. And he's got a shadow too. So, I think that's about it. I think we could be happy with that. That would be a lovely little postcard, that, wouldn't it? I hope you've enjoyed watching it. And re-watch it and watch it and go along with it. And I hope you completely and thoroughly enjoy painting your version. Thank you for watching.